I'm curious, in the price point, 97, is that just $97 without any type of price anchoring? And so we kind of have two conflicting ideas here at work where it's like, we want this to be the great first impression so we can secure the high 5-figure, maybe 6-figure enterprise deal, but we've also pigeonholed and positioned ourselves into.
Then they take that and they say, well, I want more of this, not just for me, but for everybody else on my team. How do I get Martin in here in order to make sure that happens?
Can I just say that gave me like a slight chill hearing you say that? No, because this is something you've directly helped me, Craig. If the person buys, keep giving them permission to buy more. And then it's like actually working with Martin and ultimately drive closer to the 200K Swiss franc goal.
You go through and you serve them and you give and you create such a powerful experience that the only question that they have at the end of that time together is, how do I get more of that? Martin, welcome. Why don't you give us a brief introduction about who you are and your business and where are we starting from here?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. So I'm very excited to join the podcast here. So I'm Martin. I'm living in Switzerland. I'm German. I met John last year in November, I think, and then we started doing business together. And since then, I'm developing my coaching business. So I'm still working as a software engineer in the SAP field. So SAP is a big German company who is providing software. I'm working as consultant for different companies as freelancer, as well as coach and trainer. And this year I signed my first big contract with a company here in Switzerland. Besides, I'm creating online courses as well. What I recognize myself is working with companies much more lucrative. So it's much more interesting for me to go ahead with that one. So now I try to find individual clients. So that was my first offer about which we work on, John, together.
So you're working in a space, it sounds like, where you're trying to reach professional software developers, and you have at least, so maybe it's courses and also coaching to where you're helping them develop their skills. Is it as developers? Are they growing in their careers? Like, what sort of facets are you speaking into as you work with them?
So far, it's more about development skills.
Okay.
So I'm training them to get better software engineering.
Gotcha.
So
okay. So I think it's always interesting to sort of start with this level here. How would you describe your ideal client?
My ideal client is open-minded, is interested in self-development, also in software engineering, and maybe as well in developing his or her soft skills to become a more work person as well.
Got it. And so that person, generally, they have discretionary income, right? So it's more like you're selling a nice to have. So I'll give a little bit of background, at least on the offer that we created. It was essentially the first one, the one that you were at least able to convert with a client, was helping them reorganize and redevelop their skills, redevelop their presence, and maybe some of their leadership so they could advance their career, advance their salary in their role. Because like what you said, a lot of these people find a comfortable job and they stay with it. And it's kind of like, they can park their car there for a while, but at a certain point it comes up to what's next. I guess with that, because our question, should I reveal it now, Craig?
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Cool. So you have it actually, if you want to read it verbatim, that way I don't.
You got it.
Cool.
Okay. So the question is, what proven strategies can I use to consistently fill my courses? So marketing, funnels, and partnerships, and grow towards 200K Swiss.
So with that, I want to give a little bit of a background on it as well. We've created together a very rudimentary funnel. It's a tripwire funnel, essentially, where we give people a lead magnet that helps them solve a specific problem. And your course then solves the problem that's created when that solution is delivered. we can give a little bit of context on what it's solving. This is where it starts to go above my head because I'm not a computer programmer. But I guess take us through a little bit of that course, because we'll start there, I think, and then we'll kind of build it out and see which areas of improvement we can really dial and zero in on with that.
Yeah, for sure. This course is about test-driven development. You know it, Greg?
I
So
do, yes.
it's a technique to create more readable and more maintainable software. So it's test-driven development, and the course is introducing the developers into the field of test-driven development, speaking about the motivation, and then showing how to creating a piece of software with this technique, test-driven development, and covering as well as some clean code principles. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the name of the course? What's the form factor of the course in terms of like, is it a video series? Is it email based? And what's the price point of that course?
It's email based. No, it's video based. So it's a video course. So split it up into different sections, and the price at the moment is $97 or euros.
Okay. And on top of that, what is your audience size and general growth rate?
My audience size is I have around 300 newsletter guys around. LinkedIn, I have 3,500 followers.
Okay. Sorry, how many people are on the newsletter?
I see around 300.
300. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So that is the audience I'm playing with. So it's a newsletter. I create a newsletter once per week and posting on LinkedIn daily during the week, Monday to Friday.
And if you were to guess, how many new subscribers do you add to your list about every month?
At the very beginning, it was kind of fast, but at the moment, I think it's more. The newsletter is maybe 20 to 30 per month.
Okay. That's good growth. Okay.
Yeah.
And so if I were to recap, it sounds like you're focusing on social media content marketing through LinkedIn. You post there daily. The whole idea is to get them to engage with your content and then sign up for the newsletter through a free lead magnet that you have available. Once they sign up for that lead magnet, then are you pitching the course like in the thank you page or the confirmation page, or does that come in an email sequence, or how does the course bring its way in through the lead magnet?
So yeah, the funnel is with the course is I created a 3-day challenge, free challenge to dive into the first steps of the course. So it's kind of the first part of the course is integrated in this 3-day challenge. So, and that I'm promoting with a LinkedIn post. So it's a PS.
Okay.
As well, sometimes in the newsletter.
Okay.
So for that. But when they are signing up, I have so far no sequence where I'm guiding them through the course.
Okay. I think that's would be interesting for you to consider adding something like that to your funnel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And I'm curious, in the price point, 97, something that we've talked about in the previous episode, is that just $97 without any type of price anchoring? So price anchoring being, normally, or value stacking. So like it's $500 worth of value. You have bonuses in there, you have swipe files, you have certain things, but you can get it right now for $97. Is there any type of urgency? Like it's available for $97 in this 3-day challenge only? Take us through kind of where or how the $97 is constructed.
Yeah, it's kind of discounted. If the people are going through the challenge, then the end they get the 4th and 5th email. So, and there I'm providing or offering the course for a discounted price. And I say normally the price is $249, and they are getting it for 97, offering it in euros, but because it's European.
Sure.
And where's the justification of that? Meaning, it's normally, is that because they're in this challenge? Is that because, like, what's the because statement there?
Because they are already put effort and finish the course. So that is it because.
So they're being rewarded almost at this discount. And that ends so it's essentially 50% off. That ends when the challenge ends, correct?
The
Or is there extra days?
Extra 2 days, I think.
Extra 2 days, and there's urgency emails that you have coming in after that.
Yeah.
That kind of pitch that.
If you're enjoying this conversation, the fun does not have to stop here. You can get regular insights from both John and I on how to build and grow your business without getting stuck in the frustration of going alone. So go to tgq.tools/signup so that you can get this type of coaching found right here on the Growth Question, delivered straight to your inbox.
I want to keep really double clicking on this, but I want to create kind of like a checkpoint, almost like improvement thing that we can talk about here, is to really kind of flush out and investigate the price justification of that. The discount is going to help. Obviously, there's plenty of statistics that show that a discount's going to help, but it's also weakening of the positioning that could be strengthened in other ways. So what are those other ways? The one kind of staring at us in the face, I believe, and I'd love to hear what Craig thinks, is not just lowering the price for a limited time, but also increasing the value for that limited time. So what does that mean? Okay, it's normally $200, you can get it for $100. And also, you can get X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z can be bonuses that you cannot, it's impossible to get anywhere else, right? So we just value stack on top of that. When someone's doing clean coding principles or improving that skill, what else can they have that will assist them in that? What auxiliary problems come up that they need a solution for? Those are the added value stacks that I think in a basic 3-day challenge with a couple days added urgency funnel that we could add on, that really just makes it as close to an irresistible offer for this funnel as possible. I'd love to hear what you think on this, Craig.
I think there's a lot here. I think there's a number of missed opportunities, and I think there's a lot of levers that you can pull in order to kind of make a big difference. So the first thing that I would start with is this question. So you have it discounted to $99, but you say it's normally $250. Is there a way for people to buy it for $250 outside of your funnel promotion?
Nope.
Okay. So it's not really a discount. Like that is the price. Okay. And so building on what John said, I think one of the ways that you can do, because here's what it comes down to. Many factors fall into positioning, but price is certainly one of them. Okay. And so if you have something, you say, all right, I'm taking you as a career software developer, and I'm going to help affect a transformation in your life in order to make you more skilled, even after the amount of time that you spent in your career. I'm going to make you a better communicator. I'm going to help you write code better, get done faster so you can go home to be with your kids, all the messaging that you have built around that. And you say it's available for $97. That's not necessarily bad, but at the same time, what you're doing is you're positioning yourself into a discount place because you don't have, as John said, something else to anchor it against. You don't have a program that says, well, if you spent one-on-one time with me for 3 months, I'm going to take you from point A to point B. And by the way, that's $6,500 or something like that, right? And so I think it's very interesting to think about, well, in terms of, and the other thing too is I want to make sure that we're answering your question precisely. So there's many things that you can do in order to say, I want to increase my revenue or I want to increase my profitability, but you said you want to consistently fill your courses. And so this brings up another issue for me is this course sale, because you said it was a tripwire, is this really top of funnel for you? So where you're trying to convert people from browsers into customers as early as possible, and then you have other back-end offers that you want to create that really are about the business of sustaining your business. And so I know I'm kind of all over the place with my response here. But let me just land the plane on that question. Is the true idea of what you're trying to accomplish selling more courses, or are you trying to become more profitable with this existing offer?
In the end, the online course is more kind of marketing for my coaching.
Okay.
For my coaching offers as well. So that are the most lucrative and most there's a money going on. That's a money play. So when I'm making or doing a contract with a business, and the last one was 60,000 Swiss francs. So it's
Okay.
kind of 70,000 US dollar.
Right.
So that's just one contract, 10 months training.
Okay.
So that are the big deals. So and providing courses, I think it's a good idea, but it's for me is I think more marketing in the moment. So
Okay.
I'm offering the people getting aware of my services. Oh, it's Martin. Okay, that's a good one. Oh, I saw the online course, and maybe then they are speaking to their bosses, and Martin has as well software coaching offers. So maybe that's kind of the connection or the link I want to build.
Gotcha.
Can I jump in here real quick and
Please
just
do, yeah.
kind of repeat what Martin just said, because I think it's a really it's a cool learning moment here. We just spent about, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes highlighting and thinking about like positioning from a discounted perspective. And then I think what Martin just said is really important, because he was saying like, yes, like this drives revenue, this course, and it's like great, but that's not going to be my main revenue driver, right? I just signed an enterprise deal for 10 months that was $70K. That's really kind of where I want to live in these bigger high ticket deals that obviously the margins are just through the roof. But we have two kind of conflicting ideas here. And you also said you want these courses to be like almost like the first impression. Someone buys it and maybe they can bring it to the decision maker and be like, hey, this guy Martin, I bought this, like maybe we can do something with the entire organization. But Craig just said we positioned ourselves into discount. And so we kind of have two conflicting ideas here at work, where it's like, we want this to be the great first impression so we can secure the high 5-figure, maybe 6-figure enterprise deal, but we've also pigeonholed and positioned ourselves into discount. And so I do think that if we can kind of at least put both of those things on the table and be like, how do we align them? That's where I think getting the anchoring, really stacking the value, even though it's still going to be low ticket, and positioning the course as like, I'm giving this away. Like, I'll get in trouble from my wife if she figures out how low of a price I'm giving this away for. Because then again, it's like, wow. And then the person brings it to the decision maker. We already have the first impression with Martin as the go-to person to help our organization lift the tide of all ships. I think that's where we can really make a huge impact on just the foundation of your business.
I love that you draw that out so clearly, because I think I would be interested to know a little bit more about what the lead magnet is, what the problem that you're trying to solve and how you solve it, and then also the messaging around the course, because ultimately you're trying, who's the decision maker for your high ticket deals? Is it the purchasing agent? Is it someone in the C-suite? Is it like an IT manager? Like, who ultimately are you trying to reach?
It's IT managers, because they make the decisions. And
Gotcha. Okay. So it sounds like the story that you're trying to tell is, individual software developer, I'm here to help you accomplish X, Y, Z. You give them a very dramatic and valuable transformation. Then they take that and they say, well, I want more of this, not just for me, but for everybody else on my team. So how do I get Martin in here in order to make sure that happens? Am I telling the story correctly?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So so I just have so many different ways that I want to like dive into this. So one of the questions I also have is, inside your course, are you doing stealth marketing to your high ticket items? So what I mean by that is, are you telling people that this is what I provide? These are the clients that I've worked with and done stuff like that.
No, I'm not doing.
Okay. And so I think there's an opportunity for you there. I think that's a very big lever that you can pull on. For you to interweave, intertwine, whatever words I'm actually trying to say here in the English language, if you can build in these stories of transformation into your course content. So you're talking about test-driven development and lean coding. What you can say is, here's the principles that I'm teaching you about writing tests first and making them fail first, and then they're going to pass and all this kind of stuff. And the reason I'm sharing this information with you is because when I worked with XYZ clients, they were able to find a bug immediately after they pushed some new changes before it went to production because they implemented these practices. Now, if it had gone the other way, they would have lost millions of dollars. And that's why we're doing this stuff. And so you can weave these stories into your course content that positions you as this expert that's there, ready, and willing to walk into an organization and set everybody straight.
Can I just say that gave me like a slight chill hearing you say that? No, because this is something you've directly helped me, Craig, with courses that I've launched in the past. A lot of the times we zero in on the kind of hard metrics or the hard levers that we want to pull. What I mean by that, like checkout science, pricing, bumps, upsells, downsells, launches, campaigns, all those things that are like easy to metricize, if that's even a word.
It is now.
Yeah. One thing you did help me out with, and I think that, great thing that this is a podcast and it's recorded, because I think Martin can use it and anyone really can use it, is talking about like the actual narrative within a module in a course. And I'm going to credit you with stealth marketing, for that, and really driving, like, the part that gave me chills was like, why are we doing this? Because it saved X company Y millions in revenue, is like a small, just scripted narrative piece. I think most of the time we think courses like, okay, I'm taking my brain, I'm going to record it, and I'm just going to send it to you. But there's so much involved in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the why behind a module that can have ripples effects in a business that, again, I got goosebumps listening to it. I wanted to highlight that.
That's awesome. I love it.
Ready to be on the growth question and get coaching for your business? We're always looking for businesses and people just like you to be breakdown guests for the show. Just go to tgq.tools/apply. Tell us a little bit about your business and your growth question. Awesome. Cannot wait to meet you. Now let's get back to the conversation.
So can I, let's see, we're only halfway really into our time, but I would love to just like kind of give you a point by point of what I'm thinking of things that I think would really make a big difference for you. Okay. So first of all, I'd love to see you move your first pitch as early as possible. When someone signs up for your lead magnet and they've gone to the trouble of giving you something as personal as their email, that is an implicit signal from someone to say that they're interested in you and what you have to offer, and very likely they might be interested to buy. So if you have a lead magnet, especially if it's converting well, then the messaging is dialed in. If you pitch your course through perhaps a VSL or well-crafted sales page, maybe even both, in the thank you page or the confirmation page of that opt-in, I think that gives you an opportunity to capture attention in a way that you're missing out on right now. Okay. I would consider looking at the positioning of the messaging for you to say, basically, I'm talking to you as a software developer, and my whole job is to make you a hero. I'm going to make you a hero in your job in terms of the skills that you're going to learn and grow in, but also give you the actual words, the communication that you need in order to go to your IT manager and say, I want more of this. Like you could literally have a letter available for download that someone could email to their IT manager and says, here's what I learned within this course. Here's what it's meant to me on a day-by-day basis. And here's why I'd like to bring him in here. And like in terms of like marketing, we think of it as swipe copy, like literally give your clients swipe copy in order to submit up through that funnel. But make every bit of your messaging and your positioning about, yes, you're there to help the individual, but ultimately the big fish is going towards, how do I create that deal? And then within all of that content is just continually to hit that drumbeat of, if I did this for you, I can do this for everyone else that you come in contact with in your business. And I think that's a lot, but I think those tweaks, if you implemented those, you'll see some dramatic results.
Sounds great.
You're speechless, I see.
Absolutely, I am. So,
Can we just I think that's all great, Craig, and I don't think this is as important, but I do want to define a couple of things just in case people listening don't know. Can you just tell us what a VSL is? And then can you also kind of go over, again, I think the positioning is more important, but on that thank you page, where would you kind of put the barometer of price point without the science of value stacking and things like that, but just the price point first before we even get into, like I said, adding value?
So VSL is video sales letter.
Okay.
And I think there's something incredibly powerful about turning on a camera, looking directly into it, and speaking to the heart of the person that you're trying to reach. And sales copy, and this all comes down to how you write your script and how you deliver it and all that kind of stuff. But sales copy can be very, very compelling. But I've found in my business, the clients that I work with and the people that I try and interact with, that once I can get on camera and I can, not necessarily one-on-one with them, but just have this type of interaction with them, I'm able to express myself better and more clearly in terms of the type of transformation I can help make available for the people I want to work with. So just get, and it's also gives you the opportunity to tell those stories. So if you want to price anchor ahead of time and basically add that pre-framing where you add in the social proof, I've worked with this company, I've worked with this company. You could talk about maybe how big some of the engagements that you've had been. You probably need to keep actual price, what I'm trying to say, discreet, confidential. That's the word I'm looking for individual clients, but basically talk about the value that you bring. And then you can talk about the transformation. And then you can say, through working with all of these clients, now I've built this course for you and made it available to you right now, because you're at this point, you just signed up for my newsletter. You're going to have it available to you for $97. But it's even more powerful if you have it available for purchase on your website for $250, or whatever the numbers work out to be, because then it actually is a discount. And technically, when you get into FTC's an American institution, but to say something is discounted, it has to be available for the full price anyways. So it puts you in alignment there in as far as being able to say, like, this truly is a discount for if you want to make it available. But just move that messaging up to the earliest point possible when people encounter you, because they're very likely willing to engage with you at that point. Did I answer all your questions, John? I think I kind of...
That was brilliant. Yeah. And I think what you said about like kind of the copy and the persuasion, like, yes, you do need that. But I do think it kind of hits home. Even the core of part of this positioning with Martin's whole offer suite is really diving into the why behind it all, right? And starting within the first couple of seconds when they give you their email to start articulating and translating that message. I think, questions are answered perfectly.
Excellent. Well, I want to give you the final word here, John. What else do you see? What other opportunities do you think Martin can take advantage of?
Yeah, I do think, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, of like really, because you've taught me a lot on kind of checkout sequence, whether the goal actually even is to secure a higher margin sale or a higher ticket sale. Let's go through like someone actually does get the lead magnet. They watch in, the future, the VSL, the video sales letter. They purchase that course. How much is there an opportunity to keep stacking, like a lead or a customer in motion stays in motion? How much of an opportunity would you keep stacking, giving permission for this customer to keep buying, at more and more access to Martin and his expertise?
So you're asking what would that look like?
Or like, okay, so two things, I guess, because it's, a lot of it is enterprise, like what would that look like? And even is there kind of a hot opportunity here to keep stacking, if the person buys, keep giving them permission to buy more. And when I say more, to me, that's like more access, because it's like course, and then it's like, actually working with Martin, or maybe there's something in between there, to get him closer to what his question was, to keep, getting more sales and ultimately drive closer to the 200K Swiss franc goal.
I think a big part of this comes down to really rigorous qualification, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to have some very interesting conversations with the right prospects. And so as people go through your funnel, take your course, demonstrate that they've found success in what you've been able to teach them, the more that you can understand what sort of organization and what sort of influence that they have, then that gives you a signal to say, okay, well, maybe I need to pour more into this person. So it may be less of an automated funnel type of thing, because of course you could do the typical thing where once they buy the course, then you give them an opportunity to upsell into another course at a different price point, or maybe join a membership program or do something like that. And those are very powerful techniques. But I think when it comes to the level of high ticket sales that you're interested in, it becomes much more of a relationship play. And so the more that you can know who you're interfacing with and that individual who's taken that course, you can qualify really, really elegantly there. And then once that happens, then if it were me, what I would do is have them book a call and literally give them a free coaching session. You don't position it as a free coaching session, but basically you go through and you serve them, and you give and you create such a powerful experience that the only question that they have at the end of that time together is, how do I get more of that? And if you do that and you make sure you're talking to the right person in that context, I don't think contracts will be a problem for you.
Damn.
Awesome.
What are your thoughts on that, Martin?
A lot of input, but a lot of good things I heard, and which I'm willing to implement as absolutely. And especially is what I noticed that what I noticed with my current client, where I'm doing the training, is this relationship things. That is maybe the main focus from me in the future, to get these relationships to companies who are willing to invest in their own people.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I think that's a great place to start. I think you have a lot to work with there. And what's encouraging for me and exciting for you is I think the nature of your business has a lot to work with. And so whether you use what we've discussed here or any other techniques, I think there's just a lot of stretch and room for you to grow in a number of different ways. So I'm excited to see where it's going to take you.
Me too. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the insights.
For people listening, Martin, all of the TD developers, I don't even know if that's the right terminology to use.
It is.
But IT managers who want to get in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you?
So I have a webpage, so it's martinjonen.com. So, and there's a contact formula. So just write me, fill it out. Yeah.
Excellent.
And
Well, thank you so much. And we'll see you all again here on The Growth Question.